CC11 is 3 weeks away, and you're not escaping. Just like the lobby theme, the map itself is pretty disappointing, but hey, I guess that just means less modding for you. It's very painless with risk 18 solos of Texalter, Poziomka, Maglin, Ling, and Dorothy, so when I say don't worry about the map being too hard, I genuinely mean it. The CC, in my opinion, took Pine Suit's place as the easiest CC because people apparently struggle with who is real mechanics, but I'm getting ahead of myself. This entire video was made to help you prep, so let's dive right in. No pun intended.
Ohayo, Amiya-chan. We're going on a field trip to the beach? Oh no, I forgot about that. I didn't bring my sunscreen with me. If I step into the sun for more than 2 picoseconds, my body will spontaneously combust. Thanks for letting me borrow yours, Amiya. You're so reliable.
Permanent map is a mix of Ideal City and Chen's Mistake mechanics and enemies. If you look closely at the map, you can actually see that most of it is water. It's crazy, I know. Operators can't be deployed on water tiles, but enemies will try sludging through the fake waves to get to the blue box. Thank you, I'm insane with the wordplay. Enemies in the water take 40 true damage per second and will have their movement speed reduced by 40% and their attack speed reduced by 60%. The fact that the water slows the enemies down while dealing insane damage means you can abuse the hell out of it by making them take as much damage as possible in the water with AoE options. HG obviously knew those tiles would be really helpful for clearing the map, so they also added tags that make the water no longer slow down the enemy's movement speed or attack speed. As I said earlier, you can't just suddenly cannonball operators out of the sky and onto the ocean. You're gonna need the floats in order for them to stand on. Good thing the map automatically spawns in a bunch. You start with a nice column in the middle, a few in the top right corner, and 2 on the bottom right space that are kinda useless. The map also gives you 4 deployable platforms of your own to start with for you to place anywhere there's open water. The floats are one-time use for some reason, meaning you can only deploy a single operator or ally on it. If you retreat the operator, or if they straight up die, the float will disappear and you'll have to deploy another one if you want another operator on that tile. Notice how I said allies are included, so something like W mines blowing up or Sculptor's Seaboard disappearing also uses up the platforms. Enemies can also walk on the floats, meaning they'll be out of the water, so basically you want to maximize operator usage with these deployables while also making sure enemies stay in the water. There's a risk that removes the 2 floats on the bottom right, but I have never seen those actually used in any run ever. It also bans the tiles on the bottom left, which is slightly more punishing, but again, it's not that deep. There's another risk that reduces the amount of deployable platforms you get to 1, so that kinda sucks. That's alright though, you have plenty of tiles on the map, especially since there's pretty much only 1 lane that you need to defend. Coming up, menacing enemy number 1, the dock workers. They're tanky HP and defense wise and are basically reskinned defense crushers, stunning allies every 3rd hit. Just like defense crushers, the dock workers are also weak to arts damage with only 20 arts resistance and move pretty slow. The only difference between them and actual defense crushers is that they're as allergic to the deep water zones as I am to female attention. If they're in the water, the dock workers lose 1000 HP per second. You basically just bully them by removing most of the floats in their pathing and watch them drown to death. I originally called the dock workers menacing, but considering they just solve themselves if you don't inflate their HP too much, they're really easy to deal with. They come with their own risk set that increases their HP by 140%, their arts resistance by 50, and makes them stun every attack instead of every 3rd attack. The alternative risk increases their HP and defense by 80%, increases their attack by 90%, and makes them immune to the water damage. The dock workers also become immune to certain crowd control effects while in the water. It's pretty obvious which side is easier here. Remove the floats in the middle and win. The drown damage is valuable, and being able to stun or bind them while in the water can easily offset the HP difference between the 2 tags. 50 more arts resistance might seem more menacing, but you have plenty of options that straight up do damage, so it's nothing much to worry about. The next enemy is actually somewhat threatening. While they do have less stats than the dock workers, they don't immediately disintegrate as soon as they touch the water. The surface Surf Instructors have a non-silenceable talent that reduces physical and arts damage taken by half if they're not blocked, making them a lot tankier. If you do try blocking them at high risk, they wind up 2 or 3 shotting your ops. You don't necessarily need to block them to kill them, especially since max risk burst strats exist and they weren't blocking those strats, so the solution is literally just bring more damage. The Surf Instructors have their own exclusive tag that increases their HP and defense by a lot, making them extra tanky. It also gives them more taunt, which seems like a pain, but just bring more multi-target or AoE damage. The most difficult enemy on this map are the cars. They're really tanky. I think you see a recurring theme here with all the enemies and risks. None of them are actually threatening damage or mechanics wise, they're just walking HP bloats with slightly different quirks. The quirk with the buggies is that they can pick up other enemies. In this map, their pathing is specifically designed to pick up the Arknights that spawn on the same right side as them. Enemies inside the car won't take damage until the car is destroyed, and they'll be unloaded when the car dies. Buggies can only be blocked by operators with 3 or more blocked, but you won't be doing that anyways because of how much damage they deal and of a risk you'll see later. What's more annoying is that they get their own tag that increases their HP by 60% and attack speed by 60. Also, they get invisibility, so you'll have to reveal them in some way, which practically everyone just uses a Silver Ash or Elysium S2 for that. Just like the other enemies, the solution for these guys is just deal more damage. There's really only one unique risk for this map, and it's the minus block tags. It's actually a good thing, so your ops don't accidentally block a dock worker and instantly get stunned, or a buggy and get vehicular manslaughtered. Your opener might be a bit more irritating to deal with, but that tag for the most part is pretty much free. For enemy pathing, the Arknights come from the middle right spawn and try making their way to the top right exit. Same thing with the cars, except they wait on the middle water tile to pick up the Arknights. Dock workers and Surf Instructors come from the left middle spawn and go to the top left exit. Trash mobs come spawn at the top and also go to the top left blue box. Durin casters spawn at the bottom red box and go to the top left blue box. There's 2 divers that spawn at the end and start at the same spawn as the casters, and they make their way to the top right.
We're at the beach, Amiya. It's so sugoi.
Wait, where'd you go?
Oh no, she's drowning! Somebody save her!
The class bans are soft bans this time, between defenders, guards and medics, or supporters, casters and snipers. I'm sure it's easy to see which tag you should take, but if you're still confused on what class ban to choose, this segment should make things crystal clear. This map is basically like an unfun version of CC1 Pyrite, and if you remember anything about CC Pyrite, it's that Angelina was super good there. Her S3 especially was an amazing source of multi-target arts damage with slow, allowing ops like Aya S3 or Witty S3 to get damage in. Stock workers at high risk have inflated SL HP and don't have that movement speed reduction while in the water, and multiple of them come out at the same time. Who deals arts damage and slows with multi-target? Angelina. Wow, bunches of enemies come down the middle at the same time. Multiple Arknights are quite annoying to deal with, and I don't have enough crowd control to deal with them. The cars are really tanky in Angelina. Are the Surf Instructors a problem? They actually only have 10 arts resistance, which means you can Angelina. The peons that come from the top are a bit tough. They have a talent that gives them physical dodge if they're not blocked, which is made even worse by a -2 block tag. If only there was an operator that dealt huge arts damage, which bypasses the physical damage dodge, was able to target multiple enemies with her expanded range, and slowed them all down. You know who she is. If you want genuine operator recommendations, guess what my next response is going to be. Anyways, the map's very easy, so go figure out which ops to use on your own. Okay, bye.
Oh my Kami-sama, is that Angelina Senpai-chan in a swimsuit? My nose is bleeding from just looking at her.